What's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. The PS5's DualSense Edge just had its price and release date revealed, plus Xbox is saying PlayStation is too big to ever fail. In the entertainment world, Harrison Ford is joining the MCU, and The Rock has alluded to the return of a certain superhero in Black Adam. I don't know if you've seen The Clock recently or not, but hey, it's news in time.
Sony's PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge now has an official release date, and we have details on what the Elite wireless controller will cost. The new wireless controller for PlayStation 5 will be released on January 26, 2023, with pre-orders going live on October 25th, exclusively from the PlayStation Direct in the United States, UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Participating retailers will start selling the DualSense Edge beginning February 23rd. The price will set you back a steep $199.99 USD, £209.99 pounds in the UK, and €239.99 euros in Europe. The DualSense Edge comes with adjustable trigger hair locks on the back of the device, similar to the Xbox Elite line, button mapping with an on-control user interface with a dedicated button to adjust your controller setting, and replaceable stick modules which are sold separately. A brief comparison of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller to the Xbox Elite Series 2 shows some differences and similarities. Both allow the users to adjust the travel distance of the controller's adjustable triggers to minimize the dead zone while playing. Both offer button mapping, but the Xbox Elite Series 2 offers 3 different ways to remap buttons, with one going through the Accessories app on an Xbox, while the DualSense Edge features a dedicated button to adjust the controller setting and other things like the game's volume on the fly. Though both controllers come with removable thumbsticks, one major difference is the replaceable stick modules, which the Xbox Elite controller does not offer, increasing the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge's longevity and alleviating controller drift after years of use. For a complete comparison breakdown of the Xbox Elite Series 2 and the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge, check out IGN's deep dive on the website. Speaking of high-tech controllers, Microsoft has finally added the Elite Series 2 controller to the Xbox Design Lab. Microsoft has officially announced the Elite 2 controllers will now be available on Xbox Design Lab, allowing all parts on the controller to be fully customizable, such as triggers, D-pads, and thumbsticks, including the option to choose between a cross-shaped or faceted D-pad, which was previously not available. You can even add text if you want. Xbox Design Lab Elite 2 controllers will start at $149.99 USD, with a fully customizable Elite 2 controller and all its components retailing at $209.99 USD. This is the first time Microsoft has allowed the option to customize its flagship controller since the Xbox Design Lab launched back in 2016. And lastly, Spider-Man fans are gonna want to sit down for this one, as we finally have a release window for the highly anticipated Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac Games announced a release window for 2023 for the sequel with Peter Parker and Miles Morales facing the infamous Venom. Fans quickly took to Twitter word the game could get delayed, to which Insomniac Games calmly replied not to freak out, as progress is being made for a slated 2023 release. I'm super stoked we finally have details, but Spidey fans, let me know how hyped you are about this news in the comments.
The ongoing beef between Microsoft and Sony over the Activision Blizzard acquisition, and specifically where Call of Duty exclusivity might land, keeps getting beefier. In response to claims by concerns raised by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, Microsoft released a lengthy statement to GamesIndustry.biz calling the criticism, quote, unsupported, and pointing to PlayStation's leading place in the market as a reason why. Now, it seems that Microsoft's new tactic to seal the Activision Blizzard deal is to complement PlayStation as the market leader. Yeah. While Microsoft didn't share numbers, the company said that if every Call of Duty player on PlayStation consoles switched to Xbox, quote, the PlayStation gamer base remaining would be significantly larger than Xbox. Now, they also added, quote, the suggestion that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. Now, additionally, Microsoft stated that, quote, Xbox as a platform is in last place in consoles, 7th place in PC, and nowhere in mobile game distribution globally. Damn, Microsoft, way to put yourself down. It's a bold tactic by Microsoft to claim that Xbox isn't really a threat and that PlayStation is doing really great as the market leader, all just to get the Activision Blizzard deal through. So, we'll see if it pays off, but there's no doubt that Xbox initiated this deal to be a more aggressive competitor in the gaming space to begin with. So even if they acknowledge that Sony is in the lead, there's no doubt that they are gunning for that #1 spot. Now up next, a new update for Elden Ring has finally separated damage scaling for PvE and PvP. But in a more interesting tease, the data within the patch appears to hint towards new locations and ray tracing technology. Now, as revealed in the V1.07 patch notes for Elden Ring, damage scaling for PvE and PvP has been separated, which will allow for different weapons and skills to be balanced for each mode individually. Quote, in the future, this feature may be used to balance weapons, art, spell, and incantation in invading PvP mode, publisher Bandai Namco said in a blog post. They also went on to say, quote, balance adjustments made within this feature will not impact single player and cooperative play. Now, most importantly though, at least for Elden Ring fans who want more Elden Ring, data miner Lance McDonald noted on Twitter that, quote, menu strings related to ray tracing features have been added, suggesting that the lighting and reflections tech may be headed to Elden Ring in a future update. Now, both McDonald and FromSoft content creator Zuli the Witch have also noted that the data includes references to 2 new maps that currently do not exist in Elden Ring's data. By keeping tabs on map IDs, Zuli notes that newly found ID numbers point to the map ID M20 potentially being the next main area of Elden Ring, stating that, quote, M20 could be a legacy dungeon. So is DLC on the horizon? Will the giant map get even bigger? And what kind of horrible creatures do you want to see there? Well, let us know in the comments and be sure to describe those creatures in very graphic and gross details. All right, we got my boy Spider-Man here. Finally, Sony has announced that its once PlayStation exclusive Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is coming to PC on November 18th. Revealed in a PlayStation blog post, Miles Morales on PC will support NVIDIA's latest DLSS 3 technology to ensure the highest of frame rates, though it's exclusive to RTX 40 series graphics cards, but DLSS 2, DLAA, and NVIDIA Reflex will also be supported. Now, the game's overall system requirements were also shared, with PlayStation confirming that it will feature 2 levels of ray tracing. Miles Morales also adds new ray trace shadows for outdoor light, enabling realistic shadows with natural gradients depending on if it's cast by the sun or the moon. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, Miles Morales on PC will be fully optimized for ultra-wide monitors and will feature lots of enhancements and customization options, and also fans will probably mod, Waluigi, Thomas the Tank Engine, and Saul Goodman as playable characters into the damn game because PC modders are out of their minds in the best way possible. Yeah. There are currently 2 separate, totally unrelated auctions on eBay right now for NES games that were never released, nor have they ever been digitized to be played on an emulator. They are mysterious and they have piqued the interest of Video Game History Foundation founder and co-director Frank Cifaldi. Now, Cifaldi is seeking help in preserving the 2 games at auction. Now, one is Battlefields of Napoleon, a real-time strategy game released in Japan as Napoleon Senki. The other is called Scanners, an unknown game, possibly a demo or prototype built for the Nintendo Power Glove accessory. Now, Cifaldi wrote in a tweet, quote, there are currently 2 unreleased, one-of-a-kind, never digitized games for the original NES on eBay right now. This has literally never happened before. Our resources are stretched thin and we could use help. Now, Cifaldi is organizing donations to raise the funds to win the auctions and dump the games as emulatable ROMs in order to preserve them. Now, he says, quote, Battlefields of Napoleon was exhibited at trade shows, featured in magazines, and even advertised by Broderbund. There's a fold-out poster that came with some games that includes it as one of the titles they sell, which tells me that it was very close to being manufactured before the plug was pulled. Now, scanners, meanwhile, may have appeared at the Consumer Electronics Show. Now, there's a sticker on the cartridge that reads CES sample, but unlike Battlefield of Napoleon, it wasn't well documented at the time. Now, aside from Super Glove Ball, there were no other NES games made specifically for the Nintendo Power Glove accessory, making scanners an even greater rarity. Now, if these games were to fall into a preservationist's hands like Cifaldi's, as opposed to, like a private collector, we'd know a lot more about them. Today, a classic Simpsons joke is finally a fully playable freeware game. That's right, The Simpsons Season 8 episode, The Springfield Files, has a scene where Milhouse is playing a terrible arcade game based on the Kevin Costner bomb Waterworld. Now, Twitch streamer Macaw45 has turned that very gag into a real game, and it's much more than the single screen we saw in The Simpsons. Now, you can travel the ocean, barter, build, fight bosses, and even search for secrets unknown. Macaw explains on the game's website, quote, "I've always been fascinated by the fake video games that were occasionally seen in The Simpsons, and the Waterworld one always stuck out to me as a kid. Of course, it's just a short joke poking fun at how expensive the production of the movie was at the time, but this fake game itself, with its gigantic Kevin Costner character on the screen who takes a single step before the machine asks for more quarters, always made me so eager to know what would be beyond that one screen you see in the show." It's a very cool project, not to be confused with the 1995 Virtual Boy game Waterworld.
The UK government is continuing its investigation into Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and it has revealed the company is currently developing a mobile storefront that could ruffle Apple and Google's tail feathers. According to The Verge, documents presented to the UK's Competition and Markets Authority claim Microsoft's purchase of the Call of Duty publisher is meant in part to expand its presence in the mobile space. The filing reads, quote, "The transaction will improve Microsoft's ability to create a next-generation game store which operates across a range of devices, including mobile as a result of the addition of Activision Blizzard's content. Building on Activision Blizzard's existing communities of gamers, Xbox will seek to scale the Xbox Store to mobile, attracting gamers to a new Xbox mobile platform. Shifting consumers away from the Google Play Store and Apple App Store on mobile devices will, however, require a major shift in consumer behavior. Microsoft hopes that by offering well-known and popular content, gamers will be more inclined to try something new." Details of the Xbox Mobile Store are still unclear, but this new method will allow users to purchase and play games through Xbox's cloud gaming service directly from any mobile device. Currently, the Xbox Game Pass app doesn't allow users to actually play games, forcing them to use backdoor methods to play through a web browser. Considering 3/4 of Activision Blizzard's monthly active users are mobile customers, we can see why Microsoft is eager to push into the mobile gaming space, but it is going to take a lot of work to pull it off. So we'll make sure to keep you updated as this news develops. Moving on, God of War Ragnarok's extended production period due to the pandemic meant the team had to get creative when one of their actors' voices rapidly started changing. In a behind-the-scenes video for the upcoming game, supervising dialogue designer Jody Kopsko discussed how puberty caused trouble for the sequel. Saying as the God of War sequel has been in production for years, Sonny Soljic, who plays Kratos' son Atreus, saw his voice change drastically over that time. Kupsko mentioned in the video, quote, "We had to go in and even out that performance, so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this one. We avoided compromising the story we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed, we still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content." Due to the pandemic, Ragnarok's developers needed to avoid having too many actors on set, so many of them ended up playing additional background characters and even standing in for other characters on certain days. We'll get to hear how much Atreus' voice changed in God of War Ragnarok when it is released on November 9th for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4.
It's time to take a quick break. When we come back, the president of DC Films has reportedly left, and we report on Harrison Ford making his MCU debut. See you in a bit. Welcome back! Spoiler alert for Black Adam, but The Rock has teased the return of a certain man who is super in the film. But before that, Harrison Ford might be joining the MCU as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. That's a mouthful, but let's find out some more on the rumor.
Welcome Han Solo into the MCU. Now, Harrison Ford is reportedly joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross in Captain America: New World Order. Now, he'll of course star alongside the newly anointed Captain America in Anthony Mackie. The news of Harrison Ford joining the MCU as General Ross comes from an exclusive report from Deadline confirming the longtime rumor that the actor will be stepping into the role after the passing of William Hurt, who last portrayed the Marvel character in 2021's Black Widow. Now, what do y'all think about this news? Harrison Ford joining the MCU as General Ross. Sound off down below and let us know what you think. Jumping on over from Marvel to DC, the Flash actor Ezra Miller is possibly facing 26 years in prison. Now, Ezra Miller pled not guilty to stealing 3 bottles of liquor from a neighbor's pantry, with the charge being felony burglary into an unoccupied dwelling. As to why the actor was in the house that doesn't belong to them, well, the claim was they were looking for ingredients for their mother's recipe. Yeah, the secret sauce must have been gin and vodka because that's all Ezra Miller took from the house. Now, as stated previously, the actor could face 26 years in prison and over $2,000 in fines if found guilty. But best believe those WB lawyers are going to do whatever the hell they can to make sure that doesn't affect the Flash movie's bottom line and release window. Now, the company did reshoots with Ezra Miller, so we'll likely be seeing the film sometime in 2023, hopefully. And finally, pour one out for G4 TV. Again, the video game-centric channel and media company is getting pulled by Comcast yet again, with Deadline somehow getting its hands on a memo the chairman and CEO, Dave Scott, issued on the discontinuation of G4 TV. Now, in it, Scott said the revival just wasn't profitable for the company, and as such, it'll be shuttering the channel effective immediately. Now, it came as a shock to many fans and some employees. Now, as a fan of the original run of G4 TV and having a few friends who were employed at this new iteration, it really saddens me to see so many folks out of a job. Now, hopefully some of those folks will land back on their feet real soon. All right, now you better be careful, everybody, because Black Adam spoilers have hit the internet thanks to some callous person who decided to record the end credits during a press screening, and The Rock himself, this man, the people's champ. Now, I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You know, he's been the homie ever since we hung out in Mexico. He almost popped my head like a tomato.
Wait a second. Why would you say that?
Hold on, Akeem.
That's not
seriously,
cool.
No.
But my mans is out here giving out secrets like the DCEU don't got, like Kevin Feige, like scopers waiting to pop off as soon as you drop a spoiler. But then again, this is The Rock, so who the hell is coming after him? Nah, that ain't happening. Now, I, of course, will not reveal what the actual post-credit scene is, but if you go searching on the internet, I'm pretty sure you'll find it. Now, let me tell you right now, it is freaking awesome. Like, I honestly am just like, when I saw the spoiler, I was like, oh my God, I started freaking out. I was super hyped for the film. Can't wait to see it in person. Now, as for The Rock, he did this interview with ET where they tweeted, quote, Dwayne Johnson just has this to say to Henry Cavill after getting Superman to return to the DCEU in Black Adam. Welcome home. Now, while The Rock didn't say much outside of that in the ET interview, he alluded to what the reporter was teasing, and that's that Henry Cavill's Superman is in fact in the movie. So essentially, Black Adam and Superman will be face-to-face in the film with a likely showdown expected in the future. The Rock truly is the people's champ for him and his team, somehow convincing Cavill to return as the Man of Steel. Now, hopefully one day, I'll be able to convince him to, take on that role I pitched to him way back when in Mexico while we were sipping Terramana tequila with a splash of Zoa energy drink.
We're actually working on a documentary together. It's called Between the Rock and the Heart Place.
All right, well,
Is
Dwayne.
there another question for me?
Yeah, sure. Another question for you.
Yeah, oh, Rocket, please, man. Can you hit your boy up, man? Let's enjoy some gaming together soon, broski.
Enjoy your gaming, and I'll see you down the road.
And I will. Now, in other news, we got a time skip happening in the upcoming Black Panther 2 movie. Now, this comes from production notes where director Ryan Coogler is cited saying, quote, Ramonda realizes that it's been a year since T'Challa's passing and Shuri's still not healing. She's not taking steps to move forward in a healthy way. They take a retreat, stepping away from the city, from the technology to sit with no distractions and perform what is essentially a grief ritual. That's when Namor shows up. Ooh, so it seems the film will give way to a gap within the in-universe death of T'Challa and the overall MCU timeline. Now we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds when Wakanda Forever hits theaters November 11th.
Deadline is reporting that Walter Hamada, who's been in charge of DC's feature film since 2018, will be parting ways with Warner Brothers. WB renewed Hamada's contract last year, and he was expected to stick around at least through 2023. But following the recent Warner Brothers Discovery merger, it looks like there's been a change of plans. It was previously reported that the new management hadn't even consulted Hamada before the much publicized cancellation of the Batgirl movie. Allegedly, Hamada only found out about the decision to shelve that project during a Black Adam test screening. Understandably, he was upset about the news and was said to have considered quitting on the spot. The writing has been on the wall for some time, as there's been much talk of WB's search for its own version of Marvel's Kevin Feige to oversee DC's big screen output. Hamada was an executive producer on Black Adam, which is hitting theaters this week and is on track for a $135 million opening, but which is also not getting the warmest reception from critics. IGN's own Joshua Yale gave it a 5 out of 10, which seems to be in line with a lot of other reviewers. Hamada made headlines a while back when Ray Fisher, who played the DCEU Cyborg, accused the producer of misconduct during the making of Justice League. Ultimately, an investigation revealed no wrongdoings on Hamada's part, but Fisher has been very vocal about never wanting to work with him again. Looks like The Rock was right. The hierarchy of power in the DCEU and Warner Brothers as a whole has changed since the Discovery merger, and we'll definitely keep you posted on any further developments. Meanwhile, at the other big superhero movie company, there's speculation that Sacha Baron Cohen may be playing the part of the demonic villain Mephisto in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Deadline reports that Cohen, who you might know better as his various alter egos, Ali G, Bruno, or Borat, has been spotted at the Marvel facilities of UK-based Pinewood Studios, where the Disney Plus Ironheart show is currently in production. Where and when major MCU characters make their grand entrances is anyone's guess at this point. There was an almost comical amount of speculation that Mephisto was going to be the big bad in WandaVision, but that turned out to be a red herring, and it was Agatha Harkness all along. Some fans are wondering if the demonic baddie will pop up in Agatha's own Disney Plus spin-off, The Coven of Chaos, but hey, Ironheart is also a possibility. Both shows are slated to premiere in late 2023. Before she headlines her own show, Riri Williams, the titular Ironheart, will make her MCU debut in the upcoming Black Panther sequel, Wakanda Forever, along with Namor, the Submariner, and probably some other surprise Marvel characters. The MCU gets its share of criticism for being too silly, so the idea of Mephisto showing up with a Borat voice might have some people grounding.
I get the cloak radio he cannot afford. Great success.
So bear in mind that Sacha Baron Cohen has some serious acting chops too, and has delivered impressive performances in The Trial of Chicago 7, Les Miserables, and the Netflix miniseries The Spy. But what do you think? Is Mephisto in the house very nice? Or would you rather throw Marvel's casting director down the well? Let us know in the comments.
Via Vandril on Twitter, a bug could have changed the course of a match between GAM Esports and Top Esports. GAM's Levi playing Karthus used his ultimate to deal damage to Tess's Jackie Love and Mark. However, Jackie Love's Lucian had Maw of Malmortius, which did not negate Karthus' damage as it should have. While Riot Games hasn't yet addressed this, many online, including Vandril, are saying it's a bug, and should Maw of Malmortius have worked properly, Jackie Love should have been able to get an extra hit or two on GAM's Nexus to end the game. But as things played out, GAM won the match and advanced to the World's quarterfinals. What do you think? Was this a bug? And if so, how do you think Riot should handle it? Let me know in the comments. While we haven't heard from Riot about the possible bug, we have heard from Jacob Mebdi, aka Yamato Cannon, the current head coach of Fnatic's LEC division. As reported by Esports, Yamato Cannon said via Twitter, quote, "Riot won't say anything about the bug because their sentiment/rule set has always been if players don't spot the bugs themselves, it won't be accounted for." So if you remember, the bug was discovered and called out by content creator Vandril, not by anyone on either of the competing teams. Had the match gone the other way, there would have been a tiebreaker match for the knockout stage involving TES. Shifting gears entirely to look over at FPS games, it's about that time for Apex Legends as we see the rise of a new season being teased. Apex just released their new stories from the Outlands lore trailer on the next legend, Catalyst. We don't know a whole lot about her yet, like what her kit looks like, but we do know that she's Apex's first trans legend. Respawn has been paving the way for representation in games, and it's been incredible to see. Along with the new legend, the next season of Apex will finally feature a way to gift your friends skins in-game. Your account will have to be level 10 and have login verification, and you have to be friends with the recipient for at least 2 weeks in order to gift them anything. But when you gift a friend, you can gift it to anyone on any platform. That's all we know so far on the next season Eclipse, so be sure to stay tuned here to get all the updates. I'm Stella Chung, and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week. See you then.